All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start today's class, which is digital marketing or applied digital marketing. I'm quickly going to share the screen as well. So we'll be following on the screen in terms of the slides, in terms of the learning activities using my Tutor 2DL. So at the moment, I'm logging into Brightspace or my Tutor. So in the chat box, if you can just use a emoticon face there, just to show that you are able to see the screen and you can hear me very well before I continue with class to avoid any technical issues. So in the chat box there, if you can just quickly confirm that for me. Okay, I'm still not sure if you guys are able to hear me or see the screen. Please confirm that for me. Thanks, Tim Timunye. Are you also able to see the screen? Is it shared on your side? Thank you. Dimatabe. You can also have a textbook. Thank you. You can also have a textbook in front of you because we're going to refer to the textbook. But if you don't have that, like I've indicated in the beginning of the year that I would rather not suggest you to purchase it, you can open the PDF document, which is available on Brightspace. So this side on Brightspace, you want to come to the content area. So once you are in the content, you come to the learning content. And you've got the chapters there. We try by all means to go through the year plan or follow the year plan. However, under certain circumstances, it tends to change. So you will see that we've got in the week of the 28th June, which was 2 to 2 July in last week, last week, or the week before last, we had to do chapter 3 digital modules and do the learning activity there. So today we're going to be focusing on digital modules, which is also part of your assessment or your next assessment or research proposal. So in the research proposal, you must follow some sort of a theory or a module. So we've got different types of modules that you need to apply. And in academic, we refer to them as an academic frame, as a theoretical framework. So the modules, theoretical frameworks, they differ. We've got those traditional one, communication modules, advertising modules, and now we have the digital modules, which we focus strictly on. So you want to come to learning unit 3, which is chapter 3 in this pages there, and then you want to download the PDF, which is a textbook, and save it somewhere on your computer because you're going to refer to it. PDF also allows you on the PC to highlight. So as we go through the slides, you'll be taking notes or typing notes as well as highlighting wherever possible to help you in terms of learning. So let's quickly download those slides. I'm going to save them here on desktop. And what we have, okay, I've opened them. I actually prefer the PowerPoint. So this one is PDF. I'm quickly going to use the PowerPoint ones instead. So we are on page 103 in the textbook, digital modules there. I have a textbook in front of me already highlighted, which are where certain important aspects that we need to go through. But what you see here in the chapter, you've got a picture of that theory and that picture of the model, which basically differentiate between the theory and the model. And this very interesting quote by one of the recognized Albert Einstein there, which is a very good, but he passed away. That's what it's been trail on my thought. He passed away at some stage. And then he mentioned that a theory can be proven by an experiment, but no path leads from experiment to the birth of the theory. He was trying to emphasize or to clarify that what we basically use in our research to test, we are usually testing a theory, and then that theory, it's coming from somewhere, and then we test it now in 2020. For example, we can test the theory that was developed in the 1980s to see whether it still applies in a different context, as well as to see if we can use that theory in our studies. But there is no part that leads from the experiment to actually the originating of the theory. If you look under assessment criteria, there are two assessment criteria. The first one, you must be able to review and select a digital module that is appropriate for marketing research proposal. So since you are postgraduate students, you are dealing with the research proposal, which is an abstract that you are developing. So if you can understand all 8 theories, there are 8 theories that you're going to focus on, which are digital modules, and see which theory will work for your study. Number 2, develop research a hypothesis based on a selected digital module, and that becomes your research aims, objectives as well, where you develop hypotheses. So we talk about conceptual framework in that case, the one that you draw and you show H1, H2, talking about hypothesis 1, hypothesis 3, hypothesis 4, and so on. As usual, you will see that I'm not on the Teams app, so I'm unable to see hands there. So I would also suggest and recommend that if you have any questions, you need any further clarity, rather than raising a hand or asking it in the chat box, it's better to unmute the mic and just quickly interrupt me. I will be happy to answer your question because I'm on the slide, this side, which means I'm unable to see any interaction happening that side. So feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to stop me at any time to ask any questions. So let's move to page 105, Introduction to Digital Modules. A module is anything that represents reality. So it's not real, but it represents reality. For example, you talk about a module, a plane that you see there, and then you've got the real plane, a module map at the bottom of screen, or it can be a diagram. The familiar one, or the one that we use most of the cases that you're going to apply in marketing research in terms of digital marketing as your project, is usually the diagram. So we want to see a model that illustrates or visualize your research problem as well as the aim and objectives there. On page 105, it also talks about the focus of this chapter, which the chapter focus on descriptive modules. So going back to the previous slides, you will see different types of modules there. This one, we refer to it as a descriptive module. It's also shown on page 106 in the textbook. A descriptive module, and it's a module that describes a process in which an organization operates between its suppliers, its intermediaries, customers, as well as other stakeholders. So if you can see here where you've got blue in that module, This is a commonly known module for marketers or marketing discipline, where we have company, intermediaries, and we've got customers. I think what we need to add in this module is that we've got suppliers on the other side here. So in terms of digital modules, we don't focus on supplier modules. So that's why you will see that we only start from the company. So in terms of the company, we've got those online, only one module, which is referred to as online revenue module. That one is about increasing sales. So it's about the focus is on the company itself. And we know that the aim of any business is to make profit. So hence, we want to increase sales. But since it's a digital modules, we focus on revenue that is online. How can we increase revenue generated on our online platforms? Intermediaries, which we refer to them as middlemen. We've got two modules there. One is intermediary module and attribution module. And lastly, our customers, we've got many modules that we look into. And this actually also illustrates our focus area as marketers, that it's usually customer satisfaction is our customers, and you'll see more modules here. We've got 5 modules, and in total, we end up having 8 modules here, or 8 digital modules. Let's start with the first module and discuss it further. So the first module is an online revenue module. And the online revenue module aims to increase sales through offering customers a free trial or an advertising space for business. So what you need to understand so far in this sentence is that it's about the website, the online revenue module. So it's basically limited or niche, or the focus area is about the company website. So we want to increase sales, people who visit that website or who sign up for our product there or who purchase those products. We can do this 2 ways. We can give them access. The one you should see on the page there, you've got Showmax, which is 14 days free trial. After that, you start to pay, so that they are using some module here to see whether it leads to customer subscribing to Showmax. Advertising space, we can sell that. For example, we have a website and we are selling in that website that we have, that's our platform, which we have e-commerce, we sell products, or we simply distribution information. So that website, we've got customers visiting the website, and those users who visit the website, we can actually get their information, such as who they are, demographics, their income, their preferences. And once we have that, we can sell the advertising space to other businesses. Sometimes we don't even need to go as far as getting their demographics and so on. You can simply put an advert there, and then these companies pay in our website. So we can increase the revenue through that. So you will see here an example of a Peugeot. And the car that you have there, it's advertising on the Sowetan Live website. You can see another one, back to school offer there. So they are selling in advertising space, Sowetan here, and they are using the online revenue module to generate more revenue. So the online revenue module is part of broader online business module, which actually is essential for every company, including new ones and existing ones. Let's look at this module in terms of academic work, in terms of hypothesis as well. So we've got our first module that we should understand how it works here. In the textbook, if you follow and you are highlighting, we are on page 106, the slide continuously shows us that on top there. So we've already discussed the module. But what you see here, we can use this module to actually prove 2 hypotheses through research, through collecting data. And the first hypothesis, is always better to read this hypothesis before you look at what's happening there. So it makes more sense. So our H1 or our first hypothesis, it says if a website offers free trial to access content, then customers will subscribe and in turn lead to customer loyalty. And that's what we see there as the first hypothesis. The website gives free trial. And then we're talking about the mediators. This one would be called the independent variable. This one will be called the dependent variable. And the mediator, the middle one, so this relationship between the independent and dependent variable, we see it's being mediated by the subscription itself, there, whether they subscribe or they cancel that free trial before it ends. Customer loyalty is continuity support, obviously, every month paying that subscription. So the module assumes that the free trial will lead to subscription, subscription will lead to customer loyalty. You will see all hypotheses in these modules. They are written in the following way, using the statements if, and then the then statement. So this is basically one of the strategies to develop the hypothesis using if and then statement. The second hypothesis that you see there, you've got if market research is conducted regarding site visitors, then the site owner can generate revenue from displaying the adverts on the website, or maybe rent the email list to those companies, and then they can send newsletters, or they send newsletters to us and we distribute it for them to the customers. And you can see that will be our H2. We sell site customer data, or we actually use that and then to sell the advertising space, and this leads to additional revenue. This will also be helpful for you as marketing students and you have experience or skills in terms of digital marketing as your specialization or as your niche area, whereby companies want to know how can they generate revenue, or how can they make money, make extra profit using their website, or for your own companies, for those who are interested in being entrepreneurs. So a website can be used to generate profit, and we can use the website itself. That's number one. You can suggest that the research, that's why we have a module. We can test this with customers or with basically data if it's true or it's not true. And we can actually have a research project based on this module, whereby we give customers access through free, a limited access time, the trial, or we actually sell the advertising space to other companies. And we see how much it actually helps us to get that additional revenue. So the site owner can use two approaches to assess how effective different web pages are at generating revenue. For example, if we've got one page, it's a free trial page, and then we've got another page, another segment. Let's use the word segments here. So another segment is our businesses. One segment is customers, which are signing up for free trial. That's number one. Number two, this will be businesses which advertise on our website. We can use one of these approaches here to see which one is mostly effective. At some stage, we don't want to compare. We just want to test the free trial if it's effective or not effective. The first one, it's called effective cost per mile. Actually, they use the word per thousand in the textbook, as you can see in paragraph, the last paragraph on page 106 there. Effective cost per mile, per thousand. And they use the word per mile. Excuse me there. Effective cost per mile. Yeah, it's called effective cost per mile, and you'll see in the abbreviation ECPM. And mile tends to be confusing what it means. So that's why in simple English it's per thousand, effective cost per thousand. And it makes it easy for us to understand because in South Africa we use that measurement, 1,000. So what it actually means it's about us measuring the web page, whether it's able to generate profit or extra revenue or not. And using this method, we want to see if we actually saving 10,000 pages. That's why it says per thousand. If we're saving 10,000 pages, what that means is 10,000 or 1,000, sorry, per thousand, not 10,000, 1,000. So if 1,000 people, 1,000 customers have seen our page, how much does it cost a company? For example, it might cost the company maybe 500 Rand for us to actually, for company's web page to be seen by 1,000 customers. So we'll be able to assess how much we should charge customers based on the cost that we incurred in terms of advertising using the effective cost per 1,000 there. Another one is revenue per click. And that one is based, like it says there, is per click. So we assess whether customers, how many have clicked on the link rather than saving the page. So the difference between the two, most of the time, this one is about brand awareness. We don't care whether they interact with the content or not. Where else here we care a lot. It's about them clicking on the link, signing up for a link. So revenue per click, we can use that one as well. This one, how it works, it actually assess every click, every customer that is going to click on the link that we have advertised, maybe signing up for Showmax. Let's say maybe it's 100 Rand per month. So that revenue we generated from advertising that space. So that click led us to revenue of 100 Rand. So by actually measuring how much it will cost us for each customer to click the link, it allows us to charge appropriate and relevant prices so that we can see how much revenue we can get in each click. The second two modules that we have here, it's under Intermediary Module. So the first thing that we define that this module allows site owners to track the popularity of the brand, to see the number of direct visitors, as well as to access reports showing visitors searching the brand name, the misspellings, the URL as well. So you'll see most of the time we use search engine, which is Google. So intermediary module, remember intermediary, these are people who are between us and customers. So customers usually in an online world, they come from the Google search engine. Hence our search engine becomes an intermediary module because that's where they search information. We do have other search engines like Bing, owned by Microsoft, Yahoo search engines, but the most popular one is still Google. So it allows us to actually download reports there to see if customers and they type in the keywords that they use to search our brand before they click or they come to our website. So you'll see that these modules now, they are mostly about the websites. So I must emphasize that in digital marketing, we tend to think about the platform. What platform are we using to sell our products or to allow transaction, to interact with customers? And basically these platforms, traditionally, the platform that is used it's a normal store. Consumers go to the online normal store, or they call the store. But digital, we've got 3 platforms. First one through the website, they can sell there. And then we've got the smartphone application, which is gaining momentum. And we've got other means such as digital signage, like your ATMs, your kiosks, and so on. So the digital modules chapter is about their websites in terms of those platforms most of the time. So the first one was about using the website to increase revenue. This one is about actually looking in terms of the website, where does traffic comes from. So our first intermediary, remember we've got 2 modules under intermediary. The first one, intermediary module, we're talking about search engine. if you look here in terms of hypothesis, the first hypothesis that we have, the model, it says if users search specific keywords relating to the brand on Google, then they will click on other media site links to learn more about the brand before visiting the website. And that will be hypothesis 1. So they come to Google, they search for specific keywords. They don't go straight to the website that advertises the product or where the product is there. They go to other links, for example, a social media that could be an advert, YouTube, any blog site. They read more before they come to the website. That's the hypothesis that we have. The second hypothesis, it says, which is H2, if users search specific keywords relating to the brand name on Google, then they will directly visit the brand website instead of going to other media links. So we can compare this H1 and H2, how users are actually visiting the website. If we are illustrating this quickly, for understanding what it simply means, is that a company such as Showmax, people usually will search something such as online TV show or online movie streaming, something such as that one, online movies streaming sites, and you can see Showmax is #1 there. So if these are the keywords that are basically used by customers, what it means that for people to sign up for Showmax, which you have it there, this is a link, is an advert, they won't click here. That is our first hypothesis. They will first click maybe on this one, and then they will read all these types of online TV streaming platforms, and then they will choose Showmax from there. So that's why you see our first hypothesis where we have they search information, they go to external before they visit the website. The second one, they come straight and visit the website. Model assumption is based on the Zipf's law. This is actually on page 111 in the textbook, if you see on the second paragraph there. So what does this model assumes? It assumes two things. Actually, it's one. It assumes that here you must read that yellow box to illustrate more. I'm gonna summarize it. And I hope in my summary I make sense, because it's quite, I found it last year that students, they did not understand much about the Zipf law. What it means is that if you have a list of popular keywords that are used to search your brand, so you've got that list, and that list is showing you that these are 10 popular keywords, or these are top 5 keywords that customers use to search your brand online. Out of that 5, if you want to find out how much is each keyword popular among users, for example, let's use a practical example, which is illustrated in the slides. They talk about here at the last, if most popular keywords for Netflix are movies as the most popular one, TV shows as the second popular keyword, and internet TV is the third popular keyword. Then TV Showmax is 50% popular, which is #2, and internet TV is 33% popular, which is #3 in the list there. So the best way to understand how this law works, it says we have, I'm gonna quickly write it down here. We've got keywords. So this one are relating to Netflix, popular keywords. And these are for Netflix. So the law, it indicates that, quickly go to the slide. First one, movies, TV shows, internet TV. Movies, TV shows, internet TV. It's number 3. We should use numbering bullets because, like it says, most popular keywords. So number 1, the first one, the most popular keyword is movies, TV shows, internet TV. What most usually happens is that you've got your target market. So these are people who search for information on internet. So let's assume and make an example that got something such as 1 million. Let's just say 1 million customers online for Netflix. These keywords are popular among the same customers. The point that you must understand so that it becomes more easy or more practical for you to understand this example of this law. It's the same customers. These keywords are popular among the same customers. What it means that 1 million, all of them, they know this keyword, which is the first keyword, which is movies. That's the most popular amongst them. So now the zip law, if you look in the slide, it says it assumes that the kth item is 1 divided by k, the popularity of the first. So that's the assumption that it makes there. So if you understand what that sentence actually means, it says the second, if you are using that, because the k item, the second item, we're going to look into TV show in this case. So the second item is 1 divided by the k. Our k is 2 because we are looking at the second item, remember, which is that, and that is 50%. So instead of using the second item, we already know our second item is TV shows. So TV shows there. Shows is 50% popular of the first. So out of these 1 million users, all of them know these keywords. Only 50% know the keyword TV shows. And if you follow that law again, it also talks about continuing the third one. So number 3, it's going to be 1 divided by 3, and that's why you get 33%. So internet, out of 1 million users, only 33% of them know about internet TV, or they actually uses that key phrase. It's most popular among them. So at some instances, although this one is number 1, is the most popular, you want to use these 2 keywords so that you can get a larger target market. Because what we find here is that if you continue to number 4, for example, let's think about another keyword that we can use. Let's say maybe it's just online streaming, video streaming is number 4. That is also popular. So you already know that this one is 50% popular. So half of your population know about it. This one, it said is 33% popular because it's the third one, which is 1 divided by 3. So number 4 is going to be 1 divided by 4. It's going to take us to 25% popular. Instead of using the word TV show, you can purchase these 2, and you will see that this leads to higher target market than using the second most popular one. So that's the emphasis that they are trying to make with the zip law. So 33 plus that, it's 58% instead of just 50%. So basically, intermediary module is about the search engine. It's about the keywords that are used there, as well as whether we can use it to advertise on that search engine. And then will people click on our links? Which keywords should we buy? And those keywords, if we purchase them, what are the implications in terms of the popularity amongst them? So that's what the intermediary module teaches us here. Attribution module, the third one, on page 115, they show you a nice, brilliant practical example about attribution module, how it works. They use in that box at the bottom there a scenario of example of assist in a soccer game. So in terms of a football, we know that we've got an assist, we've got a person who scores the goal. So this module assumes that people who pass the ball to those who score the balls, those assists, we refer to them as assists, they are as important as the ones who score. So attribution modules, it actually in marketing, this module ensures that online media spend is allocated to media which are influencing sales. So we've got those who the goal scorers, and there are those who assist us, the assistants there. Site owners can use Google Analytics to gain insight into the first and the last website visit before conversion, which is before making a sale. So attribution module, you must understand that it looks at customer visits the first time and the second time before those customers make a sale, or they actually in two instances. When they visited us for the first time, they came to the website. The first visit, where did those customers come from? Did they type our address, our URL there, which means they know our brand, or they search us on Google, or they come from social media, or they come on the paid advert, they clicked on the links. First visit, and then those customers, maybe then they close the website. Tomorrow they visit us again as the company or as the website. Where are they coming from the second time? So we want to compare the first visit with the second visit, and then it will tell us where most of our customers, which one are actually leading to a conversion, which one is leading to making a sale. So we've got two assists here basically in this module. So here is the hypothesis that we have there. So the model hypothesis number one, it says if the user visits the website by typing the URL the first time, which means he went to Google, he types the URL, then the second visit will also be direct, leading to conversion. Practical example. Let's say I'm visiting Showmax website. So what this means, I will, as a customer, it assumes that I will do this, showmax.co or .za. This is how I visited the website. I simply typed the URL straight there. Or I did not do that in the second hypothesis. Remember the first hypothesis, I typed the URL there. Second visit, so since I've done this in my first visit, I've went to Showmax. Second visit, which means it's tomorrow, I'm still reading more about Showmax. I haven't signed up. I still do the same thing. I type the URL and I visit the website. And that's what you see in our hypothesis here. Second visit is also typing the URL. And then now I sign up for Showmax. And then hypothesis 2 argues that it says no. Instead of customers doing that, they actually don't know the URL. You will see that all the first visits are not now our direct visit. So it assumes that customers come from somewhere else. So if we are Showmax, this module will assume that customers, what they do, they will search something such as online movies streaming sites. which means they visited the search engine Google, the first visit, and then you can see this is where they clicked on the link and then they clicked here. They didn't know about Showmax, and then it led them to the Showmax. This was the first visit, as you can see in the model. First time they visited the website, they came through search engine. Second time now, it means they already know about Showmax. They no longer search Showmax on the search engine. They simply type in the URL there, and then after that, they sign up for our product or subscription for Showmax. So instead of just search engine, they can come from social media, they can come from paid adverts. So this one, it does not mean they come differently or different segments. They come from one out of these three. Hypothesis 3, on other hand, it's quite different. It says users, they don't type that URL at all. So remember with the second hypothesis 2, it says first time they visited coming from this link, and second time they already knew the link, which means they typed it here, Showmax. So that one, it says they don't actually get to this stage at all, customers. Every time customers, they will search something such as here, which is a search engine, and come to Showmax. The second visit, they will do the same thing. Or even if they know the name Showmax, they will still search it on Google search engine, and then they click here. And that's how attribution module works. It wants to measure basically which of these intermediaries actually helps us to convert it to sale. So we can measure that attribution using two methods. First one is unified tracking method. Unified tracking method, what it says is that, remember, now as a company, we've got a dilemma. We are a company, we are Showmax, we are here. We have put our advert on, or we have purchased Google Words to say if people search TV shows, show us there, like it says them. We have also put an advert on social media, like on Facebook, sign up for Showmax, or maybe YouTube there to advertise that they can sign up for that. And then we've got now customers who sing something such as Showmax or hear it from their friend or see it on other external website like your Sowetan, maybe they saw an advert there, and then they type the URL, they come to our site. You can see we've got 3 different platforms where we promote our products. So now we've got a problem. We don't know where these customers coming from if we don't have this module. Because they visit, they don't sign up, they visit again, they sign up. So now if we have to credit the sale, we have to acknowledge the sale and say this sale was coming from Google search or it was coming from, which one are we going to credit? That's the dilemma that we have. So the unified tracking method, it says credit sales to the last click. So what this one, it works similar to the one in the football, whereby we usually say the person who scored the goal is the one who last kicked the ball. So we basically have to pay this one, the second visit. We don't care about the first visit when they visited us and they read the information and so on. So we only gonna give it to Google, the money, and pay for them, that consumers, the second time before they sign up, they were coming from you. So we are paying you, Google. You helped us to make that customer to become ours. So that's how the unified tracking method sales work. We don't care about the first visit. We only credit sales to the second visit. And then the multi-channel funnel approach or assisted conversion part, it says, hang on. Why are you only paying the last visit or the second visit? What about the first visit? Because the first visit is also as important as second visit. That's when the assist come in football. Without the first visit, customers will not have a second visit. So both these visits are important equally. So why don't we give the first visit when they came to, they visited maybe our social media page, these customers, They read about Showmax there, and then they click on the link which was advertised on Showmax. It took them to our website in the first visit, but they did not sign up. And then it means those customers were still in the considering stage of whether they're signing up or not. And then in the second visit, which means maybe after 1 week, these customers now they use search engines such as Google search to show Showmax. So these adverts are equally important. Let's allocate some credit to both of them. For example, let's give 50% to Facebook because it helped customers in the first visit, and let's allocate 50% to actually Google search because it allowed them to score at last. So that's where we, by maybe the goal, the money that they receive in the football, it will be shared between the assist as well as the final. So that's how the attribution module works. It's all about whether the different influencers to conversion of sales, whether they are all important or only the last one is important. So I'm gonna propose a quick 2 minutes break here with the learning activity. So I want you to indicate in the chat box here, which module do you think should be used basically to credit sales? So you can comment in the chat box. 2 minutes. So let's quickly write that comment in the chat box. So you must indicate between these two, whether you think the company should use the unified or should use the assisted convention to credit sales. Which one, because the dilemma is always about, do we credit the last one or we credit all of them? So which one in your own words, in your own opinion, you think is the one that companies should use online? Comment in the chat box whether unified tracking method or where we credit sales. So unified, it says we credit sales to the last click. For multi sales, we pay everyone. Should be used in general. So in your own words, please comment in the chat box there which one you think is most. So right now it's 5 past. I will continue just now at 7 minutes past 2. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've got 1 minute or 60 seconds left to comment in the chat box. Indicate there which one you think should be used by advertisers, because that's the dilemma that advertisers faced, where to credit the sale. Thank you for participation, there, Twala. So thank you as well as Mutini for participation there. Twala, if you can unmute your mic just a second, why you think assistant convention part should be used? Twala? Dimatabe, you also indicated assisted part or multi-channel. If you can unmute the mic and just comment there. Why do you think that one should be used?
Okay, so because I think if we use the example of goal scoring, Dimatabe wouldn't have scored the goal if Pima Kofane wouldn't have made that good pass on to her.
Okay, so you've applied very well to the sports. Okay, that's one. I see, Mutini, you've read your comment here, so you believe that both should be adopted. That's the dilemma we have. We cannot adopt both, because now if we adopt both, as soon as we pay both of them, it's already assisted part, assisted one. And if we pay one, which is the last kick, it's become the last conversion one. So theory, I understand that the assistant one, it also, we say it's as important, like you've indicated, Matabe. Marketers believe that they struggle a lot. This one is ideal, like you've indicated. Without those other search engines, customers will not be able to sign up. So it's as important as the second last click is as important as the first click or the first visit. So, but they struggle to understand where is the first click came from. So they struggle a lot to understand. Basically, for example, you'll have customers, and then these customers, they are different. One came from social media, one came from Google search. But now, in terms of the Google search, maybe they did not click on the advert. They just searched Showmax, and it was shown that they read there. But if they did not click, we are unable to actually consider that as a first click until they click on that advert. So most of them, they use the unified tracking method. If you want to avoid complications, you use the unified tracking method, you just say the last click. But if you want to be fair, you use the multi-channel one. So the book advises to use the unified tracking method. I have to emphasize that. And let's go to the fourth module, the communications module. So now the communication module, this module explores how the multi-stage communication design can be applied into web-based community to offer tailored messages targeted to specific groups or individuals. If you can see there on the slide, you've got Netflix, and you can see this is an account for Joshua. It recommends top picks for Joshua. Because you've watched this movie, these are related. So it explores how we communicate with consumers on a web-based community to offer them specific tailored messages which are targeted to those ones. So in terms of the communication modules, we've got 3 hypotheses. So the first hypothesis is the general hypothesis. It says if we use the same message to all customers, then we can be able to increase brand awareness. So that will be us, for example, advertising our product on YouTube, and then on YouTube we don't select any segments there to say if customer is this age should see this advert. No, we don't do that. We just have one advert. Everyone see that advert, we can achieve brand awareness. That's H1. H2, it says this is no longer about brand awareness. We want to personalize the user experience. If we want to personalize the user experience, which means that we can make those recommendations. We cannot use the same message. If tailored message are sent to specific customers, then we can have that. So we'll have advert 1, advert 2, advert 3. And this advert 3, we will say let them be displayed based on customer segment 1. They must see advert 1. If the customer segment 2 is this age or is this lifestyle, they must see this advert. And we can personalize user experience. Remember, personalize, it simply means the experience that you see on the website, it's about you as a person. So if we logged in at the same time, my experience will be different. So H3, hypothesis 3, it's no longer about user experience. If you want to increase, remember, these are the goals for advertising, brand awareness. In digital, we include user experience. In general advertising, it's about brand awareness, it's about sales, it's about loyalty. It's no longer about user experience or interaction or engagement. So, but in digital marketing, we consider this as the important part of our objectives for advertising. Interaction is whereby they interact with the content. It's no longer just about what they see there. It's about them. It's where they interact with the content. They can press, they can like, they can comment, they can write reviews and so on. If you want to do that, if tailored messages are targeted to specific customers, then website can enhance interaction and engagement. So the difference between H2 and H3 is the influence. And you will see that the difference between H1 and the other hypothesis, which is H2 and H3, is the message itself. So this module, we are measuring the influence of using customized messages to customers to achieve things such as brand awareness or interaction. So that's the communications module. And then we've got the customer information processing module. On page 128, they talk about a nice example there. And if you quickly go there in the textbook, on the slide, you've got a picture, page 128. You've got a picture there, which this example, it actually happened in real life. So if you read, it says, according to ALEA module, attention, learning, emotional response and acceptance module. Customers process information in sequence based on 2 possible responses, namely learning lead to emotional response or emotional response leads to learning. So what you have, there's an example. I want you to understand the story there, what is happening. It's the one that in the yellow box on page 129. They talk about Joshua Bell there. So Joshua Bell is considered one of the most talented musicians. He's a violinist. And now what happens? He was booked and his show sold out in Washington, DC. So it was sold out for a Friday and the ticket is way expensive. So he decided to actually go to a train station on Thursday. Remember, he's performing one night and he's sold out. On Thursday on a train station, what he did, he just played his music there. And then they observed how customers reacted to that, or how did customers process that information. Interestingly enough, they've noted that people did not even pay attention to him. Some people passed. Most of the ones that who see him play him and relate to his music were children. And there were only few, those who passed and threw in some coins, they donated some coins while he was playing. So what can we say about this model or the implication of this story? Remember, this person was sold out, he's the best in the music industry, but no one cared in the train station. The model, it says, people process information depending on time, depending on place. That's what it says. So because this was playing in the train station, people were just rushing to do their daily chores or activities. Some did not recognize it was him as well because they did not expect such. So what it says, the model, is that how do people process information? It's all about being at the right time in the right place with customers. Because they did not care in the train station here, they did not see that person, but the show was sold out and they came out in numbers the following day. Some were even the same people who paid for the show. So what you should understand about this model is that it does not say learning leads to emotional response. It does not say emotional response leads to learning. It says attention leads to one of the two and one of the two influence the other. Research findings so far, they've been proving hypothesis 1 right, others proving hypothesis 2 right. So there is no conclusion statement which one comes first. So when you apply this model, you want to see whether people, once they see an advert, attention, they've looked at the advert. After seeing our advert, maybe you are advertising our Showmax advert there. Do they search for information to learn? A step 2 about Showmax, for example, they read articles, they read reviews of what other customers did before they form attitude towards Showmax. For example, maybe they start liking Showmax and so on. Or is the other way around? These people will see the advert and then they will love Showmax. They will love that, okay, this is something that I can sign up for, which means emotional response comes first before learning goes in. So they already learn about Showmax while they are attached to the brand. So the module H1, as you can see, if users pay attention to the advert displayed, then they will search for information leading to positive attitudes towards the brand. After the advert, then they will have positive attitude to the brand leading to search for information. So which one comes first here between the two? It's still a dilemma. So I want us to also conduct another marketing research here. I want you to comment in the chat box. In your own words, any brand, I want you to apply to a specific brand because it will only be specific to a certain brand. It won't be just a general brand. Okay, noted for that, logging off there and technical issues, the beauty of the internet. So let's have that one as learning activity 2. I'm going to have another 2 minutes. Type it in the chat box. Think about any brand, include that brand and indicate which one comes first in that brand as well. Because if you do it in general, it won't make sense. So which brand do you think leads to learning before emotional response? And which brand do you think it leads to emotional response before learning? So let's have that learning activity and that participation there, please. So comment in the chat box. Any brand whereby you think learning lead to emotional response. So you comment that, or comment any brand whereby you think emotional response lead to learning. So I will need a brand that you think the model is true, that people will actually learn first about this brand before they become attached, and you think another brand, this one, it will be where people, they actually love the brand before they start learning more about the brand. So I'm going to quickly mute myself. Now it's 22 minutes past 2. I will continue now at 24 minutes past. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you left with 1 minute, 60 seconds for that learning activity, commenting there in the chat box. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. So in marketing, what I can emphasize is that it depends on product is service or it's more product. So remember, we can sell a service, we can also sell a physical product or a tangible product. So in most cases, if it's a tangible product, which means consumers can see features, this is BMW, for example. People, when they see a BMW advert, which is a brand, most of the time they form emotional response before they learn about how much speed this car has, to learn about the features and so on. So they will only do the learning whereby they book a test drive for a car after they've formed an emotional response. They've already loved the brand, what they see there in the advert. Whereas if it's a service, it's different. With the service, on other hand, people tend to learn more about the service. For example, I'm signing up for insurance. Let's say this is clientele insurance. I won't form positive attitudes that I love in clientele. I will start by searching for information, look at the claim process, look at how many people have said their reviews, and then I will add to emotional response. So we can conduct research on this and use one product, one advert here, which is the product. Maybe it might be different, and we'll see people learning before they get emotional response. For example, they will start learning about BMW, they buy BMW, and then over time, that's when they start loving the BMW. It might be different. So that's the difference between the customer information. But remember, this is not about usage, acceptance. This is while about attention and learning. So it's purely based on the advert. So the advert, does it lead you to learn? And then that learning leads you to have positive attitudes, or on the other hand, it's positive attitude that come first. So let's see here. Herbalife Matabe, if you can unmute the mic, let's know. Herbalife, which one do you think? What were your interpretation there?
I'm not sure, sir, but please correct me. I guess before you purchase something like this Herbalife products, I need to know what are the benefits, and also I need to know, yes, the side effects and stuff like that. Because come to think of it, these products, they're very expensive. Yet some people, you're not seeing any results, the benefits. So after learning such benefits and seeing the results from another user, maybe that's when I can purchase this product.
And have positive attitude towards the brand, meaning that I can recommend it. I can say this is the best supplement product. So I think Herbalife is the first one, hypothesis one. Ne?
Yeah.
Learning come first.
Yes.
Yeah, because there is no way that I can say, you know what, I love Herbalife without me learning, looking at other people, how they use it before. So yes, I agree with you. So you can see that will be a product, but it's different than the marketing theory, whereby it says most of the time is the service that leads to a learning. But with a product such as Herbalife, we know that it's purely based on the outcome. When you learn, you want to know about the outcome. That's why emotional response will come less. I fully agree with you there.
Thank you, sir.
And let's see here. Netflix. Okay, Mutini, if you can unmute the mic and tell us a bit about Netflix, what you think here?
Okay, sir. Okay. No, I was saying, I think Netflix also is one, especially, for example, if you use DSTV and you want to compare it to Netflix. If DSTV is something that you are used to, and then now you want something which is better, because now DSTV, if we look at it, it repeats things and it's no more consistent. Yes. So you know that when it comes to Netflix, you choose what you want at any given time. So you have to learn first, okay, what will Netflix offer me that maybe my previous subscriber that I'm using is not offering me? Then maybe if you look, yeah, and then maybe you'll end up liking the rewards of Netflix compared to what you're currently using, which is DSTV.
As well as the user experience, I fully agree with you. Especially the part, I love the part. I love two things on what you've said. I love the part where you mix English there, ukoti in a sentence. The second part, you mentioned example about comparing DSTV and Netflix, and that actually illustrates this model, because people are used to DSTV. They are used to seeing adverts. They are used to watching the whole intro. For example, maybe Skim Sam is playing, and then the whole intro is playing. On Netflix, you can skip those intros and you can continue where you left off. There is no advert. You can see all those emotional responses to say, Netflix is much better. It will come after I've learned more. I fully agree with you. Another example that I can add here is that with Netflix is that they give you that free trial. So that free trial, you can see on that during that 30 days, what's going to happen, I'm going to learn without paying. It's more about information searching. I'm going to see how Netflix works, and then I can form emotional response, 100%. And then we did not have anyone who talked about the one where you form emotional response before learning. Maybe we should think about some practical examples that we think consumers will form emotional response before they learn about the product. But I fully agree with the Netflix one. You learn first about it, especially if you are used to DSTV. So if we continue here, we've got a customer buying process model on page 130. This one is common. As marketers, we are used to the buying process, but this is an online customer buying process. This model ensures that activities accommodate all stages of buyer process. Integrated database and communication should identify prospects. This is an important part. Both, it must identify prospects online, but close sales offline. So we want to accommodate those ones which still have trust issues, to say we don't want to actually put my credit card details on the internet. I'm afraid of scams and so on. So you will see the example that they are using here. It's iTunes that are sold at supermarkets that they can buy this, and then they don't have to put their credit cards information. So we are trying to say customers, they can search for information online, but the purchase is offline here. So the module itself, you know, these stages like information search, awareness, post-purchase, purchase. The difference that during the purchase stage, customers are paying online, and then some segments we are saying no. They will search information online, but they will pay offline. And we've seen this happening quite a lot. People, most of the time, when they see a nice product on social media, like the t-shirt, I love this brand and so on, and they will search the prices and so on, then they will end up not buying on takealot.com online, whereby they will actually go to Mainlane and purchase that product. But the hypotheses are true here. It says, if users pay attention to the advert display, then they will search for information, purchase offering online, that is H1, and become loyal to the brand. But H2, it says, hang on, no, these users actually, they will search for information, but they will purchase offline before they become. So we can conduct a study to compare whether people are purchasing online or purchasing offline. But remember, the awareness and information search is strictly online. So this must happen online, and then we want to see whether the purchase decision is still online or it's offline. We've seen this as well with Uber Eats, Mr. Delivery, all this delivery where they offer you can make a cash payment upon delivery. So you can see that they are searching information, reading the menus, but now when it comes to payment, customers or the right is an offline payment where they pay by cash. So we can compare this hypothesis with the customer buying process model. And then on page 136, the second last model that we look into is the customer loyalty model that we have here. And now in terms of the customer loyalty model, they mention something very important. They say on average, repeat business is 5 times more profitable than new business. At first, in marketing, and I think you'll agree with me here, in theory, we usually said it was more profitable. We always knew that repeat business is more profitable than new business, but we did not know how many times more profitable. So research indicates that it's 5 times more profitable. So instead of targeting a person and then they pay 100 Rand, you can actually try and make that person to become loyal and make 500 Rand or more out of that person. And this model guides marketers how to achieve customer loyalty online. So with this model, what it says if you have a quality product, a quality website, or a quality service, for example, you are Netflix and your quality product and quality, this you are HDs, things such as no adverts, all contributes to the quality of the website. If you have that as an online value proposition, it will only lead to customer loyalty depending on these two, whether people trust your website or whether you reward those customers. So the first hypothesis, H1, it says if users perceive the content as quality, then they will trust the website and then they become loyal to the website. For example, if you think about something such as Google, I think Google is one of a reputable, reliable organization whereby we think we are using Gmail, we are using their products such as Gmail on our smartphones, the backups, and so on. We have so much trust on Google, and that's why we keep on using Google and not switching to other teams like such as Microsoft, such as Yahoo, and so on. It's all about the privacy, that our data is safe. You'll remember the scandals of WhatsApp as well in terms of updating their privacy policy, people saying they'll switch to Telegram and so on. It's all about privacy and security for people to be loyal to use the app. But now this one, it says, hang on, H2, it says, no, we actually have a different hypothesis. In this case, we think it's about rewarding those customers. If customers, even if they think it's quality, if you offer them rewards, then they will recommend the brand online to their friends, and that will lead to customer loyalty of those consumers. So it's all about either privacy and security, or it's also about the reward schemes that you offer. So this one could be, for example, share this product, or it could be something such as recommend it to a friend. It could be also something such as how for every likes that you get, you will receive 50% off, and that's what makes people to be more loyal. So which of these two is more important? In research, you can conduct a nice digital marketing research about this to find out whether privacy or reward scheme is the one that contributes to loyalty, because all these are research gaps that we identify here. And then the last one, we talk about the social media model. So the social media model, it applies the 90%, 9, and 1 rule. So 90%, 9%, and 1 rule explores the power of social media and how it affects customer participation. So the 90%, 9 rule, what it says, if you quickly go to page 139 there, you will see that that's where they talk about 139. No, on the textbook is not on 139. So if you go further, let's quickly find the correct page there. Is on page 141, just the next page. So that is start on page 139. So the 90% 9 rule, you'll see in that yellow box, it says 90% of users on social media are lookers. These are observers. They don't contribute anything. So 90% of users on social media, they are observers. Those are people who logged into Facebook, watch their friends, what they posted, the page that they follow, what they posted, what's happening. No comment, no like, nothing. They don't post a status. Those are 90% of the people. 9% of social media users, it says they contribute from time to time. So it talks about these users, basically, they are conventionalists or critics. So they don't participate every day. They don't create content. They interact with content. And there were only 1% of users participate a lot. And we'd refer to these users as basically the creators of content. We've got a nice illustration of a practical example of Bella Poch there. Most TikTok fanatic that we have there, which have a lot of fans, and he posts videos there. You can see here 38.3 million views, or actually, it's not views, it's more than views, it's the likes, this one, or the loves of this video. So it's a lot of views, one comment with 4,900 replies on one comment. So it's one of creators of content on TikTok. And we know in South Africa, we've got good creators of content, and especially on TikTok. But it's only 1%, interestingly enough, of those users. So that's what the social media approach it says here. So the first hypothesis is the one that it defines there. It says 90% of users are spectators. 9% of users are conventionalists. They comment on posts. only 1% are creators. They publish videos, music, and stories. So this is gonna be your second last activity. We're still gonna have a learning activity after this. So for 2 minutes, I want you to just in the comment box tell me what type of social media user are you? Are you a spectator? Are you a conventionalist, or are you a creator? So in the comment box, please just for I'm gonna make it an activity 3 based on you. This one I'm just gonna make it 30 seconds, so you can start typing your answers there. Comment in the chat box. What user are you? On social media. So in the next 15 seconds, if you're not typing, please type quickly. Are you a spectator? Are you a conventionalist? Are you a creator on social media? Zet Twala, I see you say you are a spectator, which means you log in, you just look at what others say. See, now our hypotheses are also true because, okay, Mutini, you also agree, you also say you are a spectator, so we've already have 2 here. So depending on the type of social media, Dimatabe, you say you are a conventionalist, so I assume you write happy birthday to your friends there, you write comments in the post. Another spectator, so we don't have any creator there in here, so you can see that the hypothesis it's quite correct that only 1%. As Masemula, you also say you are a spectator and you just logged in. Basically, you keep up with what's happening rather than posting, rather than commenting. So that is true. We've got more than 90% spectators, 1 conventionalist. I'm the creator on my side of content on social media most of the time. I do post my own content and so on. So I'm the 1%. So in terms of this hypothesis, we further say this is a problem. Spectators 90%, only 1% of creators. This must be changed. So we want to actually change by actually moving these conventionalists, these 9%, those who comment on posts, let them be creators, and then the social media will actually amplify them. Or let's take this 90% of users which are spectators, let's change them to be, how can we move them to be conventionalists? How can we move them to be creators? Because we don't just want them to be spectators because they hardly contribute in anything. Because remember, if you're a spectator, you also don't react with the context. So which means you hardly like, you hardly comment, you hardly share. So conventionalists, even clicking a huge role to be a conventionalist, we want to move you to them. So the hypothesis that we have here, I want you to understand that age 1, you don't have that arrow here. So this % are spectators, conventionalists is 9%, 1% are creators. So hypothesis 2, it says if there is methods for user to contribute, spectators can influence to become conventionalist. So for example, if we can have easy methods such as you can comment without registering, for example, that plays a huge role. That if I'm watching a YouTube video, I can simply comment that comment and say nice video. Unfortunately, you can't on YouTube. You must sign in. But we know some websites allow you to comment without sign. That allows spectators. Most of them, they become spectators because it indicates that they hate all this process that comes through privacy settings showing my name. For example, on Facebook at some stage you might be going through your news feed and then you see your friend. It says your friend Tabo has commented on Sowetan, and then you see the comment. So maybe some people, they don't want that. So it can work where as a hypothesis to say, for us to move spectators, let's have that, we can test that option. Another hypothesis, functionalist, the 9% to be creators, what can we do? So the hypothesis is that if we reward them for contributing, for example, we've seen TikTok doing this, rewarding their customers, which means they can cash in at some prizes or giving them some clothing material, some gifts. We reward them for content that they create based on the views, based on the likes, based on the followers. Then these people no longer just become conventionalists, they become creators because they want those rewards. So these are the hypotheses for online, for social media, how we can use social media and so on. So ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the theory part of chapter 3, the digital modules. So we're going to have a learning activity, but it's very interactive. It's the quizzes. So if you are using a computer, you'll need to open another browser. If you are using a smartphone, you can also do it. Microsoft Teams apps, it's quite clever. It considered this a call, so you can switch between the apps and put me on loudspeaker. It will still continue with the class. And you switch between the apps. You want to go to browser and you want to come to the website called quizzes. So on the computer, you want to come to that website, quizzes, as it's shown on the screen. So please head there, quizzes. So we're going to make it learning activity 4, this one. This will assess you if you actually able to answer certain questions based on this chapter, but it's quite interactive. It's fun. We will see leaderboard score here. So on the slide, I'll be sharing this one. We're going to give it about up until 10 minutes. So up until 3 o'clock, 10 minutes exercise. Okay, once you are on quizzes, don't sign in. Remember, I'm just going to give you a code. You want to enter a code and then you can start playing the game. I'm signing in so that I can start the game. And I'm going to make it a live game, meaning that I can be able to see the scoreboard. You're going to enter a nickname there, any nickname. You don't have to identify you or anything. If you want to, you're more than welcome to use only 8 questions based on this chapter. So I'm going to make it a live quiz. Each question has about 2 minutes, but 2 minutes is quite long. Don't rush to answer it. Read completely the sentence. You don't need any case study. You read the sentence and it's mostly asking you about the theoretical frameworks that should be used. So these are the instructions. So I'm going to quickly copy this. I'm gonna, if you are sitting there with the pen next to you, just write down the to enter. So I'm gonna quickly copy that and paste it in the chat box. But I'm not sure if your device allows you to actually copy and paste in the chat box. So if it allows you to copy and paste, it's gonna be easy for you to click on that link and go there, and it says you must enter game code for number 2. And our game code is that one. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly copy this, paste it in the chat box, and I'm gonna start the game. I'm hoping that others have already joined there. And then if you are still joining the game, but since it's a live game, you'll need to actually try by all means to be on the same page with others. So there is your learning activity 3. You click there, you enter game code, and then I'm going to start the game now. So here it's going to show me participants. As soon as you join, it's going to show me the site that how many people have joined, and then I can start that game. So you'll be able to play the game. I would advise you that if you are using a computer, you can just quickly open the next tab here and quizzes and enter game code and quickly play, or use your smartphone. It's quite interactive on the smartphone. As you can see, I've already have one participant who have joined the game. So those 2 participants, so okay, now I can start the game. That one obviously will join soon. So it's showing the numbers 54321 on the device that you are using as well. So this side, I've got those 2 participants. As soon as you join, your name will appear here. I'll be able to see the scoreboard as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be here, but I'm going to keep quiet a bit because I want you to focus and concentrate on those questions there while you're playing the game. Any clarity or anything, but keep your eyes in the scoreboard as well on the slide here to see how you are doing with the correct answers or not. So let's play that game for the next 10 minutes.
I'm not how to join. I'm getting lost.
Okay, go to the chat box. Are you in the chat box?
Yes, sir.
You see my last message there?
Give me a second.
Yeah, then you click that
Yes,
link.
sir.
Click that link, and then you copy that code there, and then you paste it there, and then you can join the game.
Yeah, it says the site can't be reached. Okay, let me just try again.
Or if it says site can't be reached, you see here, okay, I've got 3, it's only 2 of you which are struggling. Search it on Google, just say join quizzes, something like this, join quizzes on Google. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
You see it says join quizzes and it says enter code here, and then you click where it says enter code. It's going to ask for a code, and then you can enter that game code.
Okay, so thank you.
Right. All right. Seems, yeah, we are all done. So the quizzes, it's a very fun way for introducing this digital learning as well, and it allows us to have quite nice feedback immediately, as well as to identify areas where we think you lacked understanding. So it's important for us to go through this review as well. Congratulations, July, you managed to score 4,760 points, being number 1 there. So if I'm looking into your accuracy here, I will see that question 500% accuracy, question 800% accuracy. I'm happy with such. Question 7, 75%. I'm quite happy. But why is question 4 0% accuracy? So that one requires maybe something wrong with the question. That's the hypothesis that we can have in research. We think something was wrong with the question. So let's quickly go to question 4. Uber Eats is an online food ordering and delivery platform launched by Uber in 2014, and users see the recommended restaurants and menu items based on their preferences. Okay. So meaning that they log into the app of Uber Eats and then they will see KFC because they prefer maybe fried chicken. Maybe last time they purchased from KFC or they purchased from Chicken Licken. So it's based on preferences there. Or maybe they search South African food. Next time they log into the app, they will see other South African food there. So an academic research gap is identified to determine the influence of this app design feature on user experience. Okay. Which digital model should be applied in this study? So there is no one who pick up the correct answer. So far we don't know what's the correct answer. So based on the answer that you picked up, anyone who would like to unmute the mic, please do so and comment which answer did you pick here, because I don't see which one you picked.
So I'm not sure, but I think I picked customer information processing.
Customer information processing, and
I'm not sure, but
yeah, just for a second, what made you think customer information processing? If you can just add a bit there.
I don't know, sir, but now come to think of it after reading this scenario with you again, I think it was supposed to be intermediary model.
Supposed to be intermediary module. At first you pick customer information, okay. Okay, another person?
With me, same applies with Matabe.
Same applies with Matabe. Matabe, she picked up 2 actually, so I'm not sure about you.
I picked the customer information process model.
You picked up customer information process model.
Yes.
Yes, I also chose that one, the customer info.
Okay. All right. I want to see the correct answer here. Okay, according to this, it says the correct answer is communications module. 2 players, customer, social media, and that one. So basically what's happening on the app, what we see is that Uber is actually using this feature. Consumers logged into the app, let's say I want to order, and then I will see my most preferred or recommended dishes there, which are recommended restaurants and menu items. So let's quickly go to the communication modules, which it says is correct according to this. Did I close my PowerPoint slide? Okay, let's quickly reopen that. And then we will also look in the one that you picked, just to compare between the two. So with the communication modules, it says this module explain how multi-stage communication design can be applied into web-based to offer tailored messages targeted to specific groups. So tailored messages, it's not like one message, it's not this hypothesis, one message to all customers, it's actually these two. So we will have, these customers will see KFC, these customers will see African food, these customers will see sushi. And this will lead to basically personalized user experience. I just want to see here, what did it say it leads to? Based on their preferences. Okay, it did not say it's based lead to anything. So on user experiences, there we have, sorry. So user experiences, okay, so that's why the communication module was the correct one. But I just want to see as well if the one that you picked here, customer information processing. So in this module, it was gonna be about learning and emotional response. Okay, so this module, it's about the advert that the company will use. So let's make it practical for you to understand that module as well. So basically it will be something similar, such as, let's go to Sowetan website maybe. How does that module work? The customer information is not about specific tailored messages. That's the first thing that we must also pick up. It's just about this advert. If you look at this advert 2,900 that we see here, first impression, what is the first thing that comes into your mind here? Do you already like that brand? Do you already like that price? Do you love that promotion? Or you wanna read more here, which product, what type of quality it is? So if we were to apply that model, it was just gonna be something like that. There is no brand preferences. It's just whether when you look at the advert, you learn first, or you start to like the attitude, you form positive attitudes towards the brand. So I think the quiz is correct. So, but overall, I see a good accuracy. So it was just this question. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. I think the quiz was also a bit fun. I think you'll agree with me. So this brings me to the end of today's class learning session. So in the chat box, you can comment with the happy face if you are happy, sad face if you are not, and have a lovely day. I'm just gonna stay a bit here. If you have any questions, you'll unmute the mic and ask the questions, and then I'll answer those questions. So I'll see you again after 2 weeks. Have a lovely day, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
Oh, thank you, sir. Sir,
Yeah, Bo?
can you please send us the recorded session on WhatsApp group?